come in, chit chat. Tell them welcome, y'all. Oh, I got water all on my glasses. That's that tight hat. I like that one.
Yeah, this is a black one.
Yeah, who we got in there? Go ahead on that live chat. Let us know who you are.
Yeah, who's in there?
Yeah, I just got my notification just right now, so take a minute.
Yeah, it's all good. We got somebody in here though. We can keep it flowing.
hmm Yeah. What time you got?
Let's see here. Oh, we got still got about eight
Yeah,
minutes, but we can get it flowing though.
yeah. I mean, give them a little bit of time to get up in here. I'll
Yeah.
tell you a story. Tell you a story about the time. I don't know if you remember the time I had a fight. I had a fight with a tall. He was a tall nigga, and he had a pointy head. So I came from San Diego. Back, I was doing a show in San Diego. I had been drinking and barely made it back to LA. You know what I'm saying I was still kind of groggy. It was Christmas, right? So I come home. Y'all was babies. Y'all was babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I came in the house real quiet. I guess your mom had left the TV on. It was one of them shows. It was a silent scene with no talking on it. So it was no noise. So I come in there. I'm drunk, barely get the key in the door. It's Christmas. Like, and I come to the house and I go over and cut the TV off, and out the corner of my eye, I see this tall nigga standing behind me. Right, he had a pointy head, and he was in the house. Man, I just turned around, bombed on him. Started fighting him, but he was hitting me and sticking me and shit. Like he had a knife sticking me. We fell on the ground. You know what I'm saying? I heard all this popping and shit. Like he was gonna shoot me or something. I hear popping. I'm getting stabbed. Your mom turned the light on. I'm having a fight with the Christmas tree. I fucked the Christmas tree all on the ground. I'm all cut up.
That's
I
funny.
tall nigga with a pointy head. It was the Christmas tree. I forgot it was Christmas. Fucked the gifts up and everything. You know, go buy gifts and shit. I messed up everything. Oh man. Oh man. I stopped
Black
drinking.
Santa. That's
Yeah,
Black Santa. Yeah.
all up in the tall nigga in the house.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
funny. I remember. I think you told me that story before. That's crazy. Obviously, I was too young to remember it, but or I was
yeah,
sleeping or something. But
yeah.
that's hilarious.
As soon as I stole on him, then the the sound came on the TV. So I thought it was somebody talking. I said, "Huh? What?" Looked around, big tall, shiny shit. He just started sticking me. It was branch, the branches. I thought it was knives and shit. Oh, man, he sticked me.
Yeah.
Oh, tall Mexican. Big
That's
dog.
funny. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, no, I remember that story. That kind of correlating into what we going into anyway. Because I know we was talking about
Yeah,
today a little bit about full freedom and like really letting go and what like real forgiveness and letting go of stuff look like. And I know we was talking about some specific situations, but we was
yeah,
correlating it to that vibe and just um, what that really looks like in your life, what that really feels like, and what that knowing is. Because I think I feel like a lot of times,
well,
you know, we.
let me introduce you, G. First of all,
Uh,
hey, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Cream Rises, where we get to the ultimate spiritual, nocturnal, emotional, mental, but mostly higher uh, truth, so that
yeah,
everything rise up. So that's the name of this podcast, and I'm G Look, and that's the consultant right there. So we come to you on Sundays and Wednesdays. Sunday mornings at 8 o'clock. So we didn't hit it on New Year's because the brother went kind of hard and we just couldn't do it. So and Wednesday at 4 o'clock. So for your emotional, you know, uh, tune in and any case, welcome. Not necessary, but it does help the cause. We appreciate how we're growing. So please like the page, subscribe to it. and share it, please. Somebody might get something that they need to let. So anyway, so again, your first what's up, conscious consultant? You out in that orange grain? What?
Man, yeah, yeah, we out here. Like I said, we out here in Irvine right now. It's a little rainy
Mhm.
out here. It's not raining, but it's overcast. But it's been off and on the last few days. But yeah, we just out here chilling, man. And like I said, I appreciate the introduction. Obviously, it's always good to refresh that and make sure everybody know. Like I said, it's like, subscribe, share, donate if you feel touched by anything. Keep us going and flowing. But
Yeah,
yeah, today the topic was we was
yeah. Go ahead.
diving into to like forgiveness and full freedom from through forgiveness, through understanding, through comprehension of things in your life. And me and Pops talking about this earlier and the other day, just about some things that can come up in life that may take a while to be addressed, or you may have felt that you forgave or you might have let it go, but it's some roots or some depths in your spirit. So when the source has things come up and they really get addressed in a real way, or so they get let go of. Sometimes he was saying that you know we could feel kind of like some way about that because you might have kind of liked your trapping of that, or liked your pain of that, and what the identity you had in that ideal, in that pain, or that incident, or holding on to that thing. And so a lot of times what we call forgiveness or letting go is not really touched because we kind of want to keep it. We want to keep it in our story. We want to keep it for our identity. And we want to keep it for our repertoire of conversing and relating to other beings.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
right,
Let me give an example. So let's say you got somebody in your family that's a crackhead, or a fuck up, or a jailbird, or a prostitute, or a gang member, or just the bad seed in the family. Everybody knows what's gonna happen with this person. And then one day at the function, that person shows up and it's the most sweet, balanced, genuine person that has let go of all their demons, right? Are you happy for that person? Are
right,
you feeling some kind of way because you didn't have anything to do with their redemption?
right,
Or is it parked in your heart that you like being around that person because it makes you feel better?
right,
You know, like the
right,
real truth. Do you
right,
really that one sister or that one brother or the one homeboy that's always the problem? And you
right,
say, hey man, I love you. You got to get up out of this. Hey, we got to
right,
be a person. But when that person actually transforms into a higher enlightened being and a great spirit, do you feel like, damn, who the hell I'm gonna hate on now? Who am I mad at now? Maybe that motherfucker's better than me now.
right,
Open,
right,
being at peace, you
right,
know. So sometimes that can overwhelm you, and we had some incidents that happened in our family where that happened, and we had to say on the surface we thought we were happy about it. Well, I did, and then I had to reflect and say, well, damn, who am I dump on? I'm used to the shit, and it's not there no more, and I didn't have nothing to do with it.
right,
So I had to.
right.
That's true forgiveness. So that's what we're talking about now.
Right, right. And that works in a lot of ways. Like what you saying, I love what you're saying. That works on a lot of levels, and um, whether it could be something that seems darker or lighter. Because say you want to help somebody, but helping somebody has been your identity, and that person don't need that help no more.
Right.
You this is where God showed me this. What I call God. Everybody has their own versions of how that appears to them, and that word God is kind of something that we throw around. I use a lot of different words for the source of things. I feel like everybody at some point in their life understand there is a source of things, whether they feel connected to it or not. In those moments in your life that there is something that is higher than this realm that is covered in these things. But at the same time, my point is when it showed me a few years back to always make sure that my inspiration and my intention um, is superseding what seemingly is appearing, because sometimes things can be couched in seemingly moral things or immoral or right or wrong on the surface, but for your own self, your heart might not feel that truth of that. So that's the difference between a fact and a truth. A fact may be that you said that, but what you meant when you said that is the truth. So it's like when we do that in our identities and stuff in this place, as we becoming more enlightened and we becoming letting go and understand why we're here in this place and what our purposes are in higher ways, we understand that we're only pouring out to connect to people in a higher way, but we're also here to release and let go of any identities or things in our story, whether they felt bad and they gave us dark powers to be able to attach to, or maybe look at somebody a certain way or dump on them or whatever, or whether it's lighter and you feel like you was helping somebody and you feel like somebody might need you in that way too as well, allowing that space to really be free, to know that you are here for actually real freedom and
Well,
redemption.
let me ask you a question. Can you let go of just one thing at a time, or when you arrive at a place where you're in forgiveness? So I know this is a New Year's. A lot of people have New Year's resolution. They're not going to be angry. They're going to let shit go. They're going to get their money or their blessings or whatever language they speak, or they're going to get their freedom. So a lot of people use, monumental times like New Year's to have this reckoning with who they want to be. So if I say I forgive that nigga that hit me in the head in the sixth grade that I've been weird looking for my whole life, I'm letting that go. That was the reason for that. I saw that nigga. He's the mayor right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I let it go and I feel free. I have no anxiety about it. Does it have to be one thing at a time, or can it? When you get to that, do you let go of everything? That
That's a great question. I think it happens a little differently for each person. I feel like there are thresholds that we reach that some things just can't be contained in that vibration no more. So I like we was talking about earlier, I look at it like this from my experience. You have like five volcanoes, right? But those volcanoes are attached to one magma chamber. So from the surface, it looks like there's five volcanoes, and you might have to extinguish each volcano in sequence, right? So that's
right,
kind of like what it would seem like just from the surface. But in actuality, they come from the same source, the same magma chamber. So when you reach certain thresholds that cross certain sources, then all those volcanoes are inactive.
right,
So some things and certain vibrations, everything becomes inactive. I feel like because the source, you hit the source. So the more we go to the source and the root of things, and we go to the truth, the actual truth of things, not just the facts, because most people confuse facts with truth, in my opinion. So a
what,
fact mean so so a fact might say, you might say, gee, you called me and told me you loved me yesterday, right?
okay.
The truth is, if I really feel like I love you, right?
So it's a
Right?
fact that you did it,
The
but the truth would be what's contained in that.
Right. And that takes introspection, that takes a lot of different divulging. And that's just a very crude, like regular, like basic example. That's very common in this place because we are in a physical realm and a physical incarnation. A lot of times we get attuned to the physical without understanding the foundation. So it's like if we coming through the source of the magma chamber for all those five volcanoes, then they all become inactive. So it's not necessary to have to go one by one by one because most things have similar sources, right?
Yeah,
It becomes to there's more one source. So as we do expand, we won't be able to contain it like that. It'll come out naturally.
yeah.
It'll come out naturally. And the funny thing about and what we call enlightenment, or your closest to God, or relationship with God, or your spiritual, whatever words you want to put on it, or just your peace, or whatever your thing is, your love, whatever you want to call it, but your highest aspect in yourself, it
Right.
happens naturally. It's happening in your life. Your life is your guru, and other beings are reflecting that. So as you get pulled to a certain path by God's passion and God's destiny and fate within your life, things will just come up and get extinguished that way. And for some people, it's a little bit faster. Some people, it's a little bit slower, depending on what's necessary. But
So it's
it's never a race.
like a rolling start where you're conditioning your mind and your spirit to be that way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think so. That's the beautiful thing about it. I feel like it appears differently for different beings because that's the reason why there's different. I feel like there's different paths or religions and different ways people see God or see life, or because I think that it's all different ways that God can have you bring itself back to your truth, to your highest self. And so I do feel like there are practical things and practices that can be put in place that can accelerate that for you, but you only can do that if you're being pulled to that. So that's why I feel like certain people have connections with other people to be able to share that and hold that space with them, and then certain people have space with other people that can do that because
Right.
everybody's life is leading them accordingly to that way, if that be your path.
Well,
So
it's
mm,
a hard pill to swallow, though. G. Um, I mean, if you are like I'm an old man, if I'm built up of molecules of hate, revenge, reckoning with people, um, accelerating. who I am standing next to a low motherfucker so I could feel high or
Yeah.
perceive a low person and not genuinely caring if they a sin, that's called in the black community, we call that hate. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And it's like when you realize and look in the mirror, you catch yourself in the action of being that type of person, you know, um, it's very sobering.
Yeah.
So I am not one of those type of people. I'm actually speaking, in layman's terms for a lot of the people. And hey, everybody who chimed in. Hey, happy New Year.
Yes. Yeah. Happy New Year, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Talking about letting it go, fully letting it go, not just letting it go with your mouth or with your intentions. Because that shit will come back like COVID on your ass.
Yeah.
Think,
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Your heart has to be circumcised and your spirit has to know that what that does to you when you hold on. It manifests in diseases and actions. It brings negative vibrations towards you when you hold on to some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I say hold on. I mean that real holding on.
Right. And also yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah.
also feel like you missed the point of your life. I think one of the main things, other than the little particulars that we focus on in the mortal experiences, like getting what we want and feeling having a better experience. That's one thing, but you miss the point. You don't see the point of your life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you the mark or the point of the reason why you incarnated and what's pouring through you truly and what's the whole purpose of being in this place and all that stuff for you. Like I think those are aspects that are I feel like you get blinded by if that's not overflowing in your heart. What's up, P Time? Happy New Year. This is Pierre on here, Pop. He said
Hey,
Happy New Year. Blessings, blessings. That's the homie. That's my brother right there. So
hey.
yeah, yeah, but no, I definitely feel that. So I think that settles your system down, like you said, settles the noise in your system in every level, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, so that you can be open to absorb what the divine is showing you and what the source is showing you your life is, and you're able to surrender to your path and know that it's beyond certain things that's happening and see the point in everything, which gives you a peace and gives you what people call a purpose or a higher knowing or a higher experience or more love or peace in a self, things like
there
that. You know what I mean?
is there a practical? Um, everybody's built different. Everybody's made up different, and different experiences. In life is what caused you to that we call that your map that kind of forms how you look at things. Is there a fear factor involved in that, or is there some kind of? Am I scared to let shit go?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the main aspects of. First of all, in this realm in particular, having a what we call human experience or a mortal experience. I call it. I use different words because humans just a word, mortal or physical experience. I think one of the fundamental factors of it is fear, and not just the way fear we call fear, where you're just scared to jump out of plane kind of fear, but just fundamental fear. Just being fear of losing things, fear of being separated from things, fear of not getting what you want, fear of not knowing what's going on, fear of what happens after, fear of what's happening now, all those type of things. So when we're being pulled to something higher to actually have those things, I feel like your mind and sometimes the aspects of who you think you are projects itself in fear, that if I lose something, because your mind is a survival technique and it don't want to lose nothing because it feel like it's losing something. so so the same thing to help you grow is the same thing that your mind be telling you don't do it because it feels like you're not going to get something back or your survival is dependent upon it.
So let me
So
in an example. With this fall into example, because I had somebody that emailed us. Just hit me on a text
mm,
about, and I had discussed before. And this particularly women, but our vanity. So women in my generation, like your mom and different, gray area and all these type of women that are in a certain, that they go out the house, they're gonna be made up. They're gonna have the makeup on. They're gonna have the extension of the weave or the hair whipped up. And they got that, they're gonna look their best. They don't like to be in public, got shower cap on and like some of the girls now. Somebody, uh, dying. Somebody outside dying. And you're the only one. You look out the mirror, you see a nigga rolling around on the ground dying with outside without that makeup on, and go help that motherfucker. Or you, hey, wait a minute, just a second, and you got to go over there and put makeup on. You got to put that wig on real quick, make sure everything, just in case a lot of people come around and see you like that. I know girls that would literally have to think about that, you know.
Right, right,
And
right.
so are they holding on to a perception that who they are is the makeup, you know what I'm saying, and the persona of how they look to people, as opposed to
Mhm.
helping that person that's rolling around on that ground? Or if that person doesn't mean, if they, if it's somebody low, somebody lower
Mhm.
than them, I'm not gonna do it. You know, maybe if it's their mama or Beyonce or somebody they care about, they might. Like, I know women that would have to struggle with running out of the house with their wig off to go help somebody.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you. I think
Yeah,
that's what we talk about. That's we
yeah.
talking about in each person, or each being introspecting themselves to understand where they're sourcing things from. You know what I mean? That's a isolated situation. So obviously that could be many different answers and stuff like that. But it's a great pointer at what we talking about. And I feel like it's not, this thing's never a moral thing at face value. It's not about what people you think you are being moral about, or actually right about or wrong about, because that's perspective driven for the most part. If not, it's not if it's perspective driven altogether. It's just some people that most people agree on certain things like murder and stuff like that. But it's more about your intention, your inspiration behind things. You're made right by your truth, and your truth comes from your life source, which is your love, which is your belief in your faith. So when we talk about these words, they pointing at what God has coming through you in this realm to do and be. That's outside and of no respective of anybody around you. That's you. That's yours. And God may have you connected to other beings in ways to share that, or to admonish that, or for that to be reflected. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what, and that's where your peace lies, because you're gonna be perceived a lot of different ways in the place, just like every being is. And in the examples we have that they make religions off of, Jesus, Buddha, all of them, Lao Tzu, you know, um, some people taught them as morally incorrect, some people saw them as morally correct, some people called them demons, some people called them angels, some people called them God, some people called them, you know. But the spirit proves what's right. The spirit that something is coming through, proves things right,
So,
because.
hey, AG, I'm
Mhm.
going to have to end on that note. I don't know if the people know. I'm at the hospital. My mom's in here on this emergency, and they're about to
Mhm.
transport her to another room. So I'm
Yeah,
literally doing the show from a emergency parking lot. So y'all send your prayers out for our mom, G's grandmother, my mother. And so, but
yeah,
they just called me right now. So I'm going to have to go ahead and cut this short so I can sign the paperwork and
yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah. Do the thing with Nana. Yeah, blessings to Nana, and God's grace with her, and just keep me posted. We'll
Yeah,
take care of this later.
just telling everybody, just tune in to us. Sorry you had to cut it a little bit short today, but we'll be there Saturdays and Wednesdays, and you can watch the podcast of this, the rebroadcast, and go ahead and we'll be looking, so we'll answer all of your inquiries or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that short, bro.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, G. Look. All right,
All right.
blessings.